Greetings, captains. If you've played any amount of Starfield, you have done a lot of walking. Maybe to find views like this, or while you're exploring planets, getting full survey scans. Up until now, walking has been the only way or method of travel when you're on a planet. But thanks to the latest patch, we now have this, the REV-8 Rover. This is an extremely welcome addition to the game, and I think every Starfield player out there would agree that it is very nice having an alternative to our own 2 feet. The buggy is not perfect, and I do have a few small gripes that I'm going to cover in the video, as well as showing everyone the different behaviors of the buggy on different planets and in different gravities, as well as going over the features of the buggy and how I think it could be made to be an even better experience. If you're new to my channel, welcome, and thank you for being here. If you're new to Starfield, you may need some information about planets that you can visit, good places to build a home base like Indigo Ridge, and you're definitely looking for a way to make easy credits. And I have this and more in my Outpost Guide playlist. And when you're ready to build a ship, my Vanilla Starship Archive playlist starts at the Peregrine at level 14 and moves up in level in increments based on when you unlock parts. So for anything from fighters to corvettes to destroyers and even cargo hauling ships, please check out the Vanilla Starship Archive playlist. And along with the vanilla ships, I've also started a modded archive playlist. This so far includes the Krakatoa and Kronos, but I am currently working on the Typhon. This will be my upcoming ship build, and it has some special cool features. Along with the ship builds and the outpost guides, I also have the Becoming a God playlist. This playlist follows a character that's starting with no combat skills at all, and is trying to attain all of the combat skills, as well as all of the starborn powers. So if you're looking for an action-packed gameplay experience, please check out that playlist as well. Thank you. As soon as I had the buggy patch downloaded, I had to head to a major city and find a ship tech.
Anything I can help you with?
Yeah, I need to buy a buggy.
Okay, no problem.
And as soon as you have your REV-8 purchase, the game tells you that it will deploy next to your ship wherever you land and to visit a ship tech to manage your vehicles. So hopefully we're going to get more of these in the future. And of course, once you purchase, you can also paint your REV-8 however you wish. And once you're done at the ship tech, you can take a short little jog over to your ship, and you should see your buggy has spawned just outside of your ship's landing bay. And sure enough, here it is right where it's supposed to be. And the little spotlight that's shining on it is from the Matilda Aerospace mod, just in case you were curious. And now we need to test this thing out. Now, to my knowledge, this is the first wheeled ground-based vehicle that Bethesda has included in any of their games, and as you can see, I am very skilled at operating this Bethesda vehicle. There are some very important things that I wanted to learn about this, and here's number 1 checked off my list. You can't take out any sort of guardrails or railings with the REV-8, but if you get stuck, you have a booster. Don't forget about that. So you can actually jump with the buggy to get over obstacles. In terms of pedestrian safety, the REV-8 is the top of its class, as you can see. Even running full speed into NPCs will render them temporarily disabled or knocked down, but they continue living just the same. And of course, you can always just back into people. So with that test completed, and the citizens of Aquila City a little bit irritated with my presence, I took the hint and decided I should take it outside of the city and see how the REV-8 handles off-road. Once you free yourself from the shackles of civilization, you will find pretty quickly that the REV-8 is very at home off-road. You have your forward booster, your jump booster, and you have a headlight in case you're scared of the dark. You will also quickly find that it is very easy to avoid obstacles and boulders and cliffs when you're driving the REV-8. You can also use your scanner while you're sitting in the driver's seat. And if that wasn't enough, the REV-8 does wheelies. Using the REV-8 allows you to get very close to local xenobiology and gives you a front row seat to things like this moss nath making ashta pancakes. The REV-8 also allows you to drive straight backwards off of a cliff and survive the entire ordeal. What a story for the grandkids. Now, on top of these fantastic features, the REV-8 also is equipped with a weapon. It comes in the form of a laser cannon, but its effectiveness is pale in comparison to most of the weapons that you can use when you're on foot. So the best thing to do if you really need to take something out is to just hop out of the buggy and deal with it the old-fashioned way. As you can see, this elk Krangon is hardly taking any damage, but I am on extreme difficulty as well, so that makes the enemies slightly tougher. And once you get bored with the laser cannon, you can promptly drive off a cliff. You can do fun things like stunts over the local wildlife and try to figure out what that sound was. Now, of course, you have third-person view and first-person view options, just like when you're in your ship. First-person definitely makes it easier to judge your path and trajectory. Now, this does change your control schematics slightly, where the buggy will turn exactly in line with where your camera is looking. So in third person, you have separate steering and camera controls, although the buggy will follow your camera to some degree. But one thing that bothers me is how tough it is to crash into things. It should be a whole lot easier. Now, if you ever want to change the color of your buggy, just like in your ships, of course, you just need to visit a ship tech and manage your vehicles. You can change your paint right here. In case you build a new ship that you like the colors of and you want to match it, or for any other reason, really. But I was matching my ship. Now, also, you may want to experiment with the vehicle controls setting. So far, I've been using flexible, but I'm going to change it to traditional and see how that feels to me. And luckily, I'm at New Atlantis, so you know what that means. I'm just kidding. We're gonna go to a different planet. The whole video's not gonna be me doing GTA things in my buggy. Changing to the traditional control type now directly links your steering to your camera angle, which of course makes it much easier to avoid obstacles. Whether you've chosen flexible or traditional, the REV-8 buggy makes it more enjoyable, and I would venture to say easier, to find encounters with terramorphs on your way to collect your powers. Along your journey in Starfield, you're going to visit planets with different terrain types and varying levels of gravity. And of course, lower gravity makes it easier to avoid obstacles. Sometimes you'll visit a planet like Van Manen, someone can correct me, please, that has extremely low gravity, 0.03 in fact. On top of this is an icy world. You can see how much the buggy slides and bounces and kind of just acts like it doesn't want to stay on the surface of the planet. But you can use this to your advantage to dramatically reduce your travel time, as long as you can line up your trajectory. Again, this makes collisions with obstacles much less frequent, and they're just easier to avoid, you know? So with strategic use of your boost and your jump boost, you can nearly teleport yourself directly to your destination. Nice smooth landing here. Oh, I can feel the convenience. Okay, it's time to nitpick the REV-8. The first thing that I noticed when I was driving it in flexible mode was that if my camera was turned at a specific angle relative to where the buggy was moving, the buggy automatically switches from forward to reverse and vice versa as your camera changes angle. Now, I think that the forward and reverse function should be locked to your stick direction and not be dictated by the angle of the camera. Now in traditional, you can eliminate this, but in doing so, you also eliminate the ability to turn your camera to the side of your buggy and continue on the path that you want to continue on. In traditional, you can't do this. In flexible, you can, but flexible also introduces the strange forward and reverse behavior. Now one other thing is, see how my camera is pointing towards the door, but when my character got out, he was facing forward, same direction as the vehicle. I think you should get out facing the way your camera was facing when you were in the buggy. My last real gripe about this is that Bethesda didn't give us a HAB module that we could attach to our ship that had some sort of an entry ramp or elevator to bring the REV-8 into your ship, allowing you to work on it in your hangar or garage or whatever you want to call it. This would be excellent functionality that I think would be very welcome and would really help the immersion level of your ship and your buggy together. Now, none of these gripes are to say that I think the buggy is bad. In fact, quite the opposite. I think this is an incredible addition to the game, one that was needed in the beginning, to be honest. It just makes planetary exploration so much more enjoyable, even though it is slow. But it just adds another level of fun and interaction that we didn't have previously at all. I mean, I was getting very tired of walking everywhere. It's only so much fun for so long. This gives me more incentive to go and explore more planets and more locations on the planets. So, thank you, Bethesda, for the buggy. Was walking everywhere in Starfield keeping you from playing the game anymore? Well, I can honestly say that with this patch, you should definitely try out the REV-8 on a planet. I know it's not a game changer, but it is a significant improvement over having only our own 2 feet as our option for planetary traversal. The best thing about it is you have something else to interact with, something else to operate and to customize, although in the vanilla game currently that is quite limiting, so I hope that is something else that Bethesda adds as well. Some kind of upgrades for this thing, as well as different versions of the vehicles, and I really want to see ship-based HAB modules that serve as vehicle garages. Potentially we could have varying sizes of planetary vehicles, in which case maybe they have a correspondingly sized garage hab module. Either way, I think there's a lot of possibilities for this, whether Bethesda implements them or the modders do. And I did want to briefly mention that there are already several mods out there. I have seen a mod called the REV-9, which effectively improves the performance of the REV-8 in a few areas, but is counted as an entire second vehicle. And I've also seen skins that you can download. So, I love the REV-8. I'm very happy to have it. Of course, I think it could be improved, but this is a great addition to the game. Now, before I close this video, here's a quick sneak peek of the Typhon before I painted it. This is going to be my next ship build, and I can't wait to bring this one to you guys. It includes the Fortuna Hab. I'll see you in the next one.